the Canadian fires happened over the summer. And I live in Ohio, and it was interesting to me because they really didn't talk about the Canadian fires that much. They just said it was just happening. But as the summer went along, we got smoke from the Canadian fires down in Ohio, and it kept reaching down the south. I thought Canada was safe because when you look at California, I kind of figured, okay, before this year, when it's all this rain, you had drought, you had heat. I kind of understood the wildfires out there. What's causing the fires in Canada, and why was the smoke billowing down to places like Ohio, which is not even close to Canada?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it was a late development. The book had already gone to press by the time that happened. But I do talk about this rash of extreme weather events that we've faced around the planet, but certainly here in the United States. And so that is part of the discussion. And this was the latest example of that. These wildfires were, a product of extreme drought in Canada. And that is something that we expect. That's something the models predict, that we see worsened drought. It isn't just in the Western US, which, this arid region of the country, but even other regions, of North America, like Canada, are becoming increasingly prone to climate-driven drought. And you take heat and drought and you put them together and you get these massive wildfires. Here in Philadelphia, where I live, we experienced the worst air quality in the world for several days this summer because of that wildfire smoke. And, it is an interesting question. Why was it coming down into the United States? Well, the jet stream is getting weaker as we warm up the planet. We're warming the polar regions more than we are the tropics, and that's changing the strength of the jet stream. And a slower jet stream means you're more likely to get sort of meandering waves in the atmosphere and sort of winds coming from directions that we wouldn't normally expect, coming from the north or coming from the east, rather than the typical sort of westward flow that we expect with the jet stream. And so, or westerly flow, eastward flow that we expect for the jet stream. Instead, we've seen winds coming from the east or from the north. And that's unusual. And climate change is helping create those unusual atmospheric circulation patterns. So it was really those things that combined that gave us this unprecedented air quality problem here, again, in places where we don't expect it, like, we don't expect to have to deal with, wildfire smoke here in Philadelphia. And yet we were. And same thing with you in Ohio.